everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're continuing our interview series here with LearnDash with Jack Arturo from WP Fusion. He is CEO of Very Good Plugins, and today we're going to be talking about their plugin, WP Fusion. Thanks for joining us, Jack.
Hey, James. Thanks.
Yeah. For today's agenda, we're hoping to go over how WP Fusion works with LearnDash, some of the cool features that WP Fusion has out of the box for the free version from the repo, the benefits of upgrading to the pro version, and we have some questions from our Facebook group we'd probably end today's demo with.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Could you, to get started, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Very Good Plugins, and then a little about WP Fusion, I guess?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've been working in WordPress for 10 or 12 years now, and kind of started out the traditional route, building websites for clients, and then I worked at an agency for a while, and that was maybe like 8 years ago, and we always were looking at like, oh man, it'd be nice to launch a plugin and be able to work on the same project instead of like, doing these 1 month long projects for clients. And so I started experimenting with that, launched a couple of commercial plugins, didn't really go anywhere. And then, yeah, about 6 years ago, I was doing a lot of work with Infusionsoft, which is an email marketing tool and kind of sales CRM, and doing a lot of work with LearnDash courses actually. And we kept running into the customers were using Infusionsoft to run their sales and run their email marketing and schedule appointments and stuff like that, but they couldn't get their WordPress data or their LearnDash data into Infusionsoft easily. So yeah, I created a simple plugin to just basically keep the two in sync, like keep your WordPress user list in sync with your Infusionsoft contact list. And it kind of opened up this a little bit of a Pandora's box of like, okay, well, yeah, that works now, but now can we get the WooCommerce orders to sync across? Okay, that's great. Well, now can we want to like apply a tag and trigger an automation when a quiz has failed, or when somebody logs in for the first time, or when someone submits a pre-sales inquiry, we want to make sure that they're assigned to the right sales rep. And yeah, 6 years later, it was just working on like an endless stream of those kind of integration points that people want to have. So now we integrate LearnDash and also about 105 other WordPress plugins with about 45 different CRM and marketing automation tools. And that can be like, we have a wide variety of customers. I mean, some people are they just want like their WooCommerce orders to sync over to the mailing list so they can send a newsletter. And then we have other customers who are doing really complex bi-directional integrations where, maybe they have a sales site over here and a customer checks out there, WP Fusion adds them to ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, and then that account communicates down to one or more course sites that have different courses on them, that enrolls a user, maybe automatically sets their group membership or course memberships using tags in the CRM. And then you might have these automations and conditions running inside the marketing platform that are changing access rules on all of the different connected sites simultaneously. So yeah, there's quite a lot you can do with it. And our customers just keep coming up with creative ideas and solutions. And so we just keep building features and trying to support them as best we can. And yeah, so that's kind of the story. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I was checking out your website recently and it looks great. I remember the older like logo with the green in it from years ago. And then I was checking it out recently and it's really a great site. From a pure design standpoint and inspirational, it's like, wow, this is a really nice job from where your team has came across with. So it's cool to see your company evolve over the years, and especially see where it is now. And then I was looking at the massive list of your integrations. It has grown a lot.
It's grown, yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
Congratulations on all that. That's exciting. Speaking of integrations, maybe you can tell us a little bit of how some of our LearnDash users could leverage WP Fusion a little more with their LearnDash courses?
Yeah, so what for LearnDash, we usually see either one of two things. The first is that people are using a mailing list tool or a CRM and they need to get their LearnDash data into it. So like we have a lot of larger universities and stuff using LearnDash, and they need their student data to be in Salesforce so that somebody in Salesforce can see course progress and lesson progress and quiz scores. So WP Fusion gets all of that progress data out of WordPress and into the CRM in real time. And then the other use case we see is that WP Fusion has a way of controlling access to WordPress content based on rules in the marketing platform. So we will see people using WP Fusion as an additional membership layer on top of LearnDash. For example, like, the person might be enrolled into a closed course and LearnDash handles that level of their enrollment, but then each lesson and topic within the course has different rules about when the person can access it or under what conditions and where they get redirected to, and then WP Fusion handles that part of it. Even to the point where, and I have a demo of this I can show a little later, you can actually have a student fill out a survey and WP Fusion will sync that data up into your marketing platform. The marketing platform runs some logic on the answers and then personalizes the content of a course, like which lessons and topics the student actually sees based on the answers to the survey. So we can show more beginner information if somebody declares that they're a beginner, or we can even put something at the end of the course that gives them a recommended next course based on how well they did in a quiz or something like that. So for the people who are finding that LearnDash's built-in access rules or drip feed settings are not sophisticated enough, WP Fusion lets you easily add extra logic on top of that without having to hire a developer and build something super custom, or it works well with what's already there in LearnDash.
Well, so what you're saying is with just LearnDash and WP Fusion, you could extend I want to say maybe conditional logic based off results of quizzes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a really powerful feature.
Yeah. I can show you what that looks like now. I do have a little demo of that.
That'd be great. You should be able to share your screen.
Yeah. All right. Can you see it?
I can.
Nice. All right. So let me just set this up. Okay, so here, what I've done is I've got a course, and it's a course on how to build a WooCommerce store. I can show you what it looks like when I'm logged in as an admin. It's got some right, so we've just basic dummy course. It's got some sections. And what I've done is I've created some lessons in here that are marked as beginner. Mm-hmm. And then the rest are just regular lessons. So I've got 3 lessons here that are beginner. For each one of these, what I've done is added WP Fusion's content rules on top of it in addition to LearnDash. So what this setting says down here on the right is to view this lesson, the user must be logged in and they must have the ActiveCampaign tag beginner. So tags are what we use inside the CRM to segment people. So this is my test ActiveCampaign account. This works with all of the 40 platforms we support though. So you can see here's the student record, and these are his tags. So these are kind of the groups that person is in. And then we can use those to control lesson visibility. So I will go back to the site as this user. So the lessons are protected, and I've also set the course with its own requirement that says to view the course, they must be tagged as having completed the welcome survey. And then I also have Gamification set to show a welcome survey if they don't have that active campaign tag. So as an admin, I just see the course, of course, because I have full permissions. But when I go to it as a user, let's log in first. Hold on. All right. So now I'm here viewing the course as a user, and I'm seeing this, what is your level of experience with WordPress survey? So I have to complete this survey before I can view the course. And this is where it kind of, this is sort of why we have 100+ different plugin integrations, is because it sort of lets you combine them in ways that wouldn't otherwise be possible. This is a Gravity Forms survey, but because Fusion also supports Gravity Forms, the tags that are applied in ActiveCampaign from this survey can then be used to unlock LearnDash content, if that makes sense. So any integration that we have has the ability to apply tags. It could be like a foo events, event registration can apply a tag, WP Forms form submission, watching a video, logging in for the first time, viewing a page, whatever, can sync these tags to ActiveCampaign. And then once they're on ActiveCampaign, we can then use them to open up the course, enroll someone in the course, unenroll someone from a group, etc. So I'll just show you how that form is set up.
Yeah, I just did this all custom recently, and we had to tie a survey to a first lesson and make a quiz. It's sort of like a fake quiz and a fake first lesson and a fake in lesson to make sure you can get a post and pre-course survey. So something like this would definitely integrate much smoother and eliminate the need for some of those extra quizzes and lessons for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually on the light version there, not the full version. So I can explain the difference later, but we'll activate the full version so everything works. So anyway, that form in Gravity Forms is set up with 2 conditions. When the form is submitted, if the person says their experience level with WordPress is 3 or less, they get tagged as a beginner. And if the person says their experience level is greater than 3, then they get tagged as an advanced user. So when we submit this, if I say I'm a 2, now I'm logged in and these beginner lessons are shown to me. But if I had submitted it with 3 and had been tagged advanced, then they'd be hidden. I can show you that as well. Okay. So we can go to the user. We get tab creep here.
Yeah, that's all right. I know that feeling. I have 3 or 4 windows just closed, minimized for later work.
You gotta kind of like prune them every so often. So we'll get rid of the beginner, and now I'm gonna tag him as advanced, as if he'd selected a 4 on the survey.
So it looks like you can manage a user's tags from the admin and your interface.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's happening. You can manage them here, and every time you make a change, that data is being synced to the contact record in ActiveCampaign here. So I just removed beginner and added advanced, and that same data is on the record down here on the person's tags. It would work the same way over here as if I had tagged them beginner, and then that can be loaded back into WordPress and personalize things. And yeah, we could talk some more about that in a bit too, because there's quite a lot that can be done on this end in terms of changing a user's access automatically or based on conditions. But anyway, so I'm here, I'm tagged advanced, and now, because I'm not tagged beginner anymore, those beginner lessons have completely disappeared. They no longer are required for me to complete the course.
Oh.
So that's like a simple example, but of course, we could have any number of lessons with any number of tags, and anything can apply those tags. So you can create really an infinite number of like sort of dynamic paths through a course if you wanted to.
Well, that's great. That's a really powerful feature. Now, I do have a question, and we're probably going in the wrong order, does your system start applying tags before a user exists? So like the sales funnel side or like the pre-account side, like is there a way, like what part of, where does WP Fusion step in and start grabbing data?
That's a good question. So to apply a tag, we have to have a contact record in the CRM because that's where it's stored. But it doesn't necessarily have to relate to a user. I could come to the site and fill out a Gravity form or some other form as a guest, and that can create the contact record and apply the tags as well. And then we also have abandoned cart tracking, which if someone is starting a WooCommerce checkout, and as soon as they enter their email address, the contact record will be sent to the CRM, and then the tags will be applied. So you can, if somebody like begins to check out but then leaves, you can follow up with automated emails. And then there's also some stuff that we do in terms of preemptively tracking people via lead source tracking. So in the WP Fusion settings, we have this field mapping system where all of your fields in WordPress are on the left, and then all of your fields in your CRM are on the right. And over here, we have the ability to track the campaign that someone comes to your site on. Let's see if I have it. Yeah, I do have a field for that. So I can say source and medium. If I enable those, a visitor could come to my site from a Facebook ad or somewhere else, and WP Fusion would start tracking this stuff immediately. And then if sometime later they fill out a form or begin to check out or somehow identify themselves with an email address, then this data from your ad campaigns will be synced to the contact record as well. So you can use that to track, if you're doing sales funnels or something where you have a Facebook ad, the person lands on a landing page and then they read some information and maybe they eventually sign up for your free course. All of this information can go through the funnel and end up in your marketing platform so you can see how effective your funnels are, which ads are converting the best. Yeah, so that's about the extent of what we can do to people who aren't identified yet, just because we have to know at least an email address before we can begin to, create a record for somebody and save data to it.
Makes sense. Well, that's still something. That's good. That's at least to see you can track where your ad spend is valuable.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there are, like, you've probably seen Right Message and tools like that that are more about they're personalizing the landing page, like as the person comes into it. And I wouldn't say WP Fusion is a replacement for that because we can't personalize the page in real time based on which ad somebody came from or something. Like they have to opt in at some point for us to begin tracking them. But also the tools like that could be used well alongside WP Fusion.
So could you go over what's in the light version of the plugin, and then maybe go over why some of the major features, why someone might want to upgrade?
Yep. I have a little demo for that too. Paid versus free version of WP Fusion. And we get asked this a lot. I'm thinking about ways to make it clear. To me, it makes a lot of sense as a developer, but I can understand how it doesn't. So basically, the full version of WP Fusion has an integration with WordPress, things like your posts and your pages and your users, and then it also has on top of that 100+ different plugin integrations like syncing quiz scores from LearnDash or syncing MemberPress membership levels or WooCommerce coupons that were used, all that plugin related stuff. The free version, we just took the full version and we removed all these plugin integrations. So it can protect any content in WordPress like posts, pages, or even courses, lessons, and topics, because those are standard post types. So it can protect things. It can synchronize your users with your CRM. It can do basically all of the core functionality is the same. It just doesn't have those plugin integrations. So like what that could look like for LearnDash, we'll go activate the light version. Let's make sure I got that. Yeah. And the settings are basically the same. So what this is going to do is it's automatically going to detect any new user registrations, and it's going to sync them to contact records and ActiveCampaign. What we talked about earlier with the lead source tracking, that all works in the free version. So it's really pretty capable. And that works with any one of the other 40 plus platforms we support as well. So say I have a LearnDash course, and it's just a free sample course that requires a registration to access it. The free version of Gamification will detect that registration and sync it to the marketing system. So I have set this one up as a little example. And what I did here in the free version is I said that after the person registers, when they view the course page, we will apply this tag in ActiveCampaign. Free course sign up down here.
Gotcha.
So log in and we'll register. And okay, cool. So that's it. I've registered for the free course. If we look in the Gamification logs, they're going to show all the data that's being synced. And right here, you can see it detected the new user registration. Nobody was found in ActiveCampaign. So it added a new contact record and applied that free course signup tag. So we can click on that user now and jump to their ActiveCampaign contact record. So I don't have it here in the free version. Anyway, down here. So yeah, here's my lead. He's signed up for the free course. He's in ActiveCampaign. He's tagged with the course that he signed up for, and he's ready to receive emails. As an example, I set up this automation called free course signup, and I set that in ActiveCampaign to be triggered when this free course signup tag is applied. So this is everything that happened to this user while we've been talking after I submitted the form. This tag was applied by Gamification, which kicked off this automation. So the user has now been added to a Facebook custom audience, so we can set up remarketing to them. Wow. They're about to receive a welcome to the course email, and then the system is going to wait for 5 days, and it's going to see if the lead has completed the course yet via an additional tag. If the lead hasn't completed the course, we're going to create a task for me to make a phone call or send a personal email to the student to see if they need any help or they have any questions or they're interested in upgrading to a paid course or whatever. If they have completed the course, or maybe they've upgraded to the paid offering already, we can automatically remove them from the custom audience so we're not wasting marketing money on them, and the automation. And that's all possible with the free version of Gamification. I'm not a marketer myself, but so this is kind of like one of these pre-built marketing templates they have in here.
Yeah.
But you can imagine, like, with all of these different tools available and conditions and weights and integrations with outside systems, really the sky's the limit in terms of what you can do.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Like while you were talking, I almost took a screenshot because of all the information. Then I realized, oh yeah, I'm recording this. Like, I can watch it again. Because that's and this is your version of your free version of the plugin, and then also using ActiveCampaign. That's great. Speaking of like ActiveCampaign, and is that I don't want to necessarily show favoritism, but if you were to pick which marketing or automation marketing platform seems to work the easiest, maybe not the best, because that's a different question, but for someone just getting started, what do you find is the easiest marketing tool to integrate with Gamification?
Generally ActiveCampaign. There are a couple of cheaper ones, like Sendinblue is really great, and MailerLite is also pretty good, but they do have some limits in terms of, like, these outside integrations with Facebook and stuff like that aren't possible, so you can grow out of it. ActiveCampaign is only a little bit more money, but it's really basically unlimited what you can do with it. I personally, if I could afford it, I would probably use HubSpot, because that is even more powerful, but it's super, super expensive. So yeah, we tend to just like start with ActiveCampaign as a recommendation because it's very, very functional. It's reliable. The support's pretty good. The pricing can't be beat. So yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I actually had a question about HubSpot later on for like the audience Q&A, but it had to do with pop-ups and HubSpot triggering. So I thought, based off my current research, I thought using your tag manager could really help with some of the marketing side of things, from like lead capture.
Yeah.
So cool. Fantastic. Thank you. That's great. In fact, I want to start using that right now on my own software. Know what I'm doing this afternoon.
And I can show you a few more of these just that like I've seen other customers do.
Sure. Do any of these require the paid version? And then if so, could
Yeah.
you like highlight why or what feature that we're getting with you would need?
Right. So I'll talk about that first, and then because I can point out in some of these automations where that makes a difference. So everything that just happened there with that synchronization and applying that tag was only really coming from WordPress core, because the user registered a user account and then viewed a page. So it wasn't specific to LearnDash. In the paid version of WP Fusion, then we have quite a few more LearnDash specific things. For example, it can detect when a course has been marked complete, not just viewed, but actually completed, or a lesson or a topic. It can also apply tags when someone has been enrolled in a course, which might be different from when they view the course page. So it's a little bit more accurate that way. We can auto-enroll people into a course when a tag is applied, which is quite powerful, because that means you could have, maybe somebody makes their third purchase for the month of March, and that awards a GamiPress badge, and that badge applies a tag, and that tag auto-enrolls the person into a course or something. It can kind of, link course enrollments into other behaviors and other plugins. So yeah, basically all this stuff specific to LearnDash content types, applying tags when quizzes are passed or failed, syncing answers to quiz questions to fields, all of that LearnDash specific stuff is in the paid version of the plugin. So I will activate that.
Now, while you're doing this, when you add a tag and then that tag can automatically enroll someone into a course, is that WP Fusion doing the enrollment and non-enrollment as well? Is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. So let's see. So I've got this student just logged in, and let's say I wanted to auto-enroll them into this course with a tag. We can edit the course, go to the course settings, and I'm going to say it's going to link with the tag welcome survey complete. That was from the other example. Anyway, if that user who just created the new account goes to the course we were using earlier with the welcome survey, this is the same thing we saw before, where you have to fill out the form and get the tag, but I can do this in ActiveCampaign as well. So we just go to that student's automation, or student's contact record. So we'll give them the welcome survey complete. That can happen manually, or it can happen as a step in one of these automations, however you like. And we'll make sure that tag gets loaded back into WordPress. And if we look at the logs now that it's been loaded, you can see the welcome survey complete tag was loaded, and now the user was auto-enrolled into the course because that linked tag was detected. So that happens because of WP Fusion, and now the student would just reload the page and they're already in the course. So you can imagine, we talked about personalizing course content and lessons, but you could also have a grid of available courses and personalize recommended courses based on somebody's answers to a survey, or maybe your students are grouped under an advisor or something, and the advisor has access to the CRM contact record, and the advisor says, you know, Jenny should work on these 3 courses this week, and Steve should work on these 4 courses this week, and they can adjust which courses the student sees in the course grid just by applying and removing tags or running them through those automations.
Great. That brings up a follow-up question. Can you group or bulk add tags to users?
Yeah. Yeah. So any kind of bulk actions like that would happen back here in ActiveCampaign. So yeah, let's say you can imagine if I had a bigger list and I wanted to see just everybody who had completed lesson 1, I could filter by that. I would end up with just all the contacts who've completed lesson 1 in course 1, and then I would just select them all, edit, add a tag. And as soon as I do that, ActiveCampaign in the background tells WP Fusion that they've been tagged, and then their access updates automatically.
Yeah, I could see someone like a teacher saying everyone who's gotten 100 on this last test can skip this next test. Anyone who hasn't, you know, here's a makeup test for you.
Right.
And yeah, I could.
Yeah, and I have a sample automation here for assignment grading. So this would be somebody begins course A, and they get sent an email letting them know that it's time to take their quiz in LearnDash. WP Fusion's quiz settings would be applying this tag when the quiz is submitted. This step is going to notify the teacher, and then we're going to have a wait, and then we're going to check to see if the person passed the quiz by checking their quiz score. If yes, we send them the results. If no, we have to send them an email saying to retake the assignment. And we can even continue to loop with the emails, the check, and notifying the owner of the student until they pass, and then continue on down this way with the second assignment, another check for their quiz score, etc. So this, I mean, it's not like anything different is happening in WordPress. They're still taking the quiz and seeing the result, but now you have this whole encouragement system where like the student's mentor or group leader is being notified of their progress, and then they're getting emails saying, you know, good effort last time, but let's try to pass the quiz by the end of this week, and that kind of thing. So, I mean, obviously, like if you're running an online learning management system, you want to keep your students engaged and coming back because they keep their subscriptions active. And it just, I mean, it makes everything work better. So like, this is a great way to do that with like every step on their journey, or, you know, keeping notifications coming at them and making the system feel really sort of dynamic and aware of their progress.
Yeah, you can really be a lot more engaging with your students without actually having to, you know, be there every, you know, if they submitted the lesson at 3 in the morning, you don't have to be there at 5 in the morning that says, thanks, you know, like you could send all this automation, but still make it feel personalized, which is great.
And you can always put in logic that requires a manual intervention. Like it would not be hard to say if the student fails 3 times, now I need to get up at 5 in the morning and help them out personally. But up to that point, it's all automated. Yeah. Oh, here's one other one a customer did a couple of months ago. So this one was a customer who does professional training, and her students need to be recertified every year for legal reasons. And so it's not easy to do that just in WordPress. Creating those kind of like long timers are quite difficult, but when connected to an external marketing tool like this, it's pretty easy. So what we do here is we set up LearnDash with WP Fusion to synchronize the date that the student completes the course, the certification course, into ActiveCampaign. And then we can run an automation to trigger this automation 7 days before that course certification period is up. So like if I complete it in September 2020, this will run 7 days before September 2021. And then we send an email saying, hey, your certificate's expiring. We give them 7 days to log back into the site and retake the certification. And then if the date field hasn't updated, i.e. they haven't retaken it and given themselves another year, then we let them know their certificate expired, maybe assign it to somebody to follow up with them or give them a phone call or whatever. So like that was a nice example of something that's quite difficult to do without an external kind of like logic engine like this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because we do a lot, well, a lot of our users use LearnDash as continuing education for like, for, real estate or even pest control, where they have to do a test every month or every, they have to do a certain amount of time to be able to track that and use a third-party system to say, yep, they're here for, X amount of time, they qualify. That can be pretty useful.
Yeah, and they can even, another thing I like about Active Campaign is we can even go into this view. I don't think anybody's in this automation right now, but if there were, no, it's not going to do it. But anyway, it will show me the names of everybody and where they are in the cycle, and like who's currently waiting for 7 days, who hasn't responded, and all that. And I can click through to any of them and then interact with them directly or send them a personal email. Free versus full version, or I know I got a little distracted there.
No, I think it is. I mean, to clarify, from free versus paid, you can do a lot of the basic stuff. Any of the user registration is all, anything
Yep.
WordPress based is there. And
Right.
even with LearnDash, that'll still get you pretty far. But with
Yep.
the paid version, you can start tagging specific things and then start going more granular.
Exactly.
Question, is WooCommerce integration part of your free or paid version?
So then that works the same way. If you require customers to make a user account, then it works with the free version, because the free version will always sync your user registrations to the marketing tool. But guest checkouts, because that's a WooCommerce specific thing, would not work in the free version, but does work in the paid version.
Gotcha. Okay. Can you use WP Fusion as a shopping cart or a membership platform without a shopping cart or membership platform? Like, do you need an additional third-party plugin to do some of that basic level membership and or shopping cart?
Right, that's a good question. In terms of a shopping cart, yes, because WP Fusion can't take payments. Though it is, it's nice because as long as the tag gets applied from somewhere, as you've seen, LearnDash doesn't know what applied the tag, but the course gets unlocked anyway. So, for example, we have a lot of customers who use Entreport as their marketing tool, and Entreport has its own built-in checkout system that's all optimized and tightly integrated into their account. You can sell your products using Entreport's checkout, which applies a tag, WP Fusion detects it, and then grants access to a course. So it effectively bridges a system that otherwise wouldn't talk to WordPress at all. That's on the more complex side, or of course WooCommerce, we support WooCommerce, but then on the simpler side, like WP Simple Pay is a super easy to use Stripe checkout. Like, you basically, there's a button that has a price on it, the person clicks it and they type in their credit card and they pay. We support that in the same way. So the person checks out with that, they get the same tag and they get access to the course. So you have an option of what checkout system to use, but you would have to pick something to take payments. Unless, of course, you're just doing free content, but yeah.
Gotcha. And
then in terms of membership, that one's a little trickier. We have a blog post about this on our site. Our access system is not as complex as something like MemberPress, which also takes payments. Or like, I know LearnDash has a memberships component now. With a real membership system, you have this concept of membership levels, and a person can upgrade from bronze to silver to gold, or they can cross grade. And by adding payments into it, it makes it more robust in some ways. You can have umbrella memberships where people buy group seats to sub members and stuff like that. Because WP Fusion doesn't take payments, it's much simpler. So we can apply any number of tags to users, and those tags can be used to personalize the site experience. So I can definitely, lock access to course content or pages or even products or coupons based on tags, which is like a membership system. But because it doesn't give users anywhere to view their membership or upgrade their membership, I wouldn't call it a full replacement for something like MemberPress or Paid Memberships Pro or LearnDash memberships.
That's fair. Yeah. And to be clear too, LearnDash memberships, our group system, that's a great solution for a basic solution. Like
Yeah.
we will still have the problem of multiple levels, or I don't want to say too much because I'm not sure of my current documentation, but upgrading, downgrading accounts, stuff like that. Some of the more advanced features you get with a membership, yeah, neither does LearnDash. Like, but it can work with any membership plugin, and you can extend it. It tries to do the basic and then get out of the way and let everyone else handle it. So I,
Yeah.
I
Well,
have a
and I
question.
try to, that's like kind of one of our sales points too, is that we, this like tagging system is universal. So
Mhm.
you could start with just that, then use LearnDash memberships for a while. Then maybe your needs are really complicated. You need umbrella memberships. You can add Restrict Content Pro or MemberPress, and we have integrations with both of those to apply and remove the same tags. So you can get the extra features from those, but it's not like you're having to throw out your old membership system and rebuild everything. Like your tag-based course access and your automations are still running exactly the same way. You've just changed the manage my membership page or the checkout form. So it lets you have this sort of modular system where you can change out components and the data is still being fed into your marketing tool, and you don't have to throw out the whole site when you want to change one piece.
I know you could probably
Yeah.
do it manually, but do you like an easy solution for gamification with WP Fusion?
Yeah, I really like GamiPress. We support it. It works great. Like, I'm sure you could do it with just WP Fusion. I know there are people out there who like, oh yeah, fewer plugins is better. We have a short code where we can say, this the gold tag is required to view this badge, and that could be like kind of gamification where like if they
Mhm.
complete things in a certain order, then they see a message. But yeah, GamiPress is great. The free version is more than capable. I would prefer to just use something that's built for that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I know LearnDash has some built-in point systems too, uh, but a full-blown gamification plugin will give you so much more features. But you can you can make a whole gaming engine if you want to play around with all the points systems tied to LearnDash. So
Yeah, it's funny because uh, I see a lot of people create messes for themselves, especially in a support capacity. And one of the big things I see is obviously gamification is awesome for increasing engagement among members, but you don't just install it and turn on everything and it magically works. Like it's 90% your gamification strategy, and like planning out the goals. I do see a lot of people who it seems like they know they need gamification, but they didn't really feel like setting it up fully or something.
yeah.
And yeah, you can end up with these really complicated websites or badges that never get earned or points that don't do anything and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not to get on a tangent, but I think gamification can be good. But if you're really just using it for user interaction, a lot of this automation stuff and interaction you're already building with all of these funnels or touch points, I think would also accomplish the same things that gamification can do, but almost maybe better or in tandem to provide better results.
That's a great point. Because like, I mean, okay, it's cool to win a badge, but it might be more effective to get a personalized follow-up to passing a course or, on my birthday or that kind of thing. And yeah, certainly combining those two is even better.
Fantastic. Well, I do have a couple user questions from
Sure.
Facebook, and we're coming up on an hour, so I don't want to take too much of your time, but I also want to ask some of their questions
Yeah, sure.
too. Uh, so, Roby, I don't know if you know Roby from Australia, but
Mhm.
Roby asked a question, and it's a little long, so I'll just go ahead and read the whole thing. It says, let's say we are using LearnDash for a 5-day course, but students are able to progress through the course at their own pace. Is it possible to use WP Fusion to link up an email platform such as ActiveCampaign to automatically send each student an email digest at the end of each day with a list of lessons they have completed and which lessons they have yet to complete?
No, I know what you mean. It would be really cool. What we can do is we can sync information about the student into ActiveCampaign, and then we can merge that into email. So like obviously the student's name, or we can see the last lesson they completed, and the date. But it's hard to create like a dynamic email saying, today you completed lessons 3, 4, 5, and 6, and your average score was blah, 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 and you did it in 45 minutes. It's hard, it's basically impossible to do that because we can't sync that information into these kind of basic fields on the student's record.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry, Roby.
Sorry.
uh, Andre asks, can you give a couple real-world examples of WP Fusion creating a better course experience for a user or admin, something where WP Fusion is really shines? Now, I think you've already done that, but I wanted to ask the question just in case we missed something.
Yeah, and so like I think the recertification reminder is a good example. I've got test automations here for days. We can look at a couple more. So like, let's see. Here's an automation. So this would run when somebody signs up for a free course and we want to get them to buy a paid course. We can link tags with automatic discounts in WooCommerce. So this tag, once applied to the student, will give them a 25% discount. This sends an email, and then we tell them the discount's going to expire in 30 days. You have to use it. We have a 25-day wait, let them know the discount's expiring, and then by removing the tag, the discount is removed. So that's, I mean, like create a little urgency for upselling to your premium offering. There you go. In terms of if you're doing webinars or in-person events, if we ever get to do that again,
yeah,
any kind of events, we can sync the event registration information to the contacts record in the CRM, and then we can say, hey, the event is coming up. Here are the event details. So, you know, that's keeping people up to date with what's coming up on your calendar and making sure they attend. We can even go further and we could check back on their record to see whether or not they attended the event, and then split them into 2 different streams if we wanted to. One could say, we noticed you didn't show up. Is there anything we could do to make events more interesting for you in the future? And then the other could say, thanks for attending. All that data would be here in ActiveCampaign, so it's pretty easy to use. This is, we'll want just one more. So this is a really simple one. A lot of times people sign up for a course and it's an aspirational thing. And they're like, okay, I've bought it, but then they don't actually take it. So this is triggered when somebody purchases the course. We just wait for 3 days and check to see if they've completed the first lesson. If they haven't yet, then we send an engagement email to say, hey, we noticed you signed up, but you haven't done the first lesson yet. Is there anything we can do? So yeah, that's another way to improve the student experience.
Those are all great examples. I mean, I'm already sold, but someone, I have some other quick questions, but the last detailed question someone asked was about Memberium, and they're pretty much asking, is there any known issues with Memberium and LearnDash? WP Fusion, LearnDash, and Memberium as the membership layer.
No, I don't think so. So Memberium is similar to WP Fusion in that it also creates a bidirectional integration with either ActiveCampaign or Infusionsoft. So a lot of these same techniques are possible in Memberium. You would usually just use one or the other because Memberium also integrates LearnDash with ActiveCampaign. Some people use WP Fusion with Memberium because Memberium is only focused on membership and LMS, whereas we have a lot of integrations with event management plugins or affiliate WP or form plugins and that kind of thing. Like if you wanted to sync your affiliate WP tracking variables or affiliates into the CRM in addition to your students, you might use WP Fusion for the affiliate part and Memberium for the LearnDash part. But they're not incompatible. We just don't see them used together very often for that reason. Because if you're primarily focused on memberships and LMS and you already have Memberium, you probably don't need WP Fusion as well.
Understand. It makes sense. Automatically triggering discounts without showing inputs. Like,
Yep.
But that would be not necessarily LearnDash related, but it could be if they've already taken a LearnDash course. I would assume that would be more WooCommerce or EDD related.
Yeah, we support that with both WooCommerce or EDD. So if I've got a say a 50% discount here, And I could set up this course and I could have it say that when the course is marked complete, let's activate discount, apply the discount tag. And then over here on coupon, wherever I put that, auto apply discount. We'll just say when the discount tag is present, activate the 50% off discount, and we'll call this a fast learner discount. And then this customizes what they see at checkout. You can say you received a discount for being a fast learner, etc. Yeah, so that would automatically give them a discount. And then even using an automation like this, we could say wait for 3 days, send an email, and then remove the tag to deactivate the discount to create a little bit of urgency.
Fantastic. So I have 3 remaining questions. 2 of them are kind of softballs. I think I know the answer to this. How does WP Fusion differ from something like Zapier?
Okay, so Zapier is it's a third-party system and it connects all your apps together. It has some support for WordPress. For example, like I can go into WooCommerce and there's a little webhooks setting in here, and I can connect this to Zapier. So then when someone checks out, WooCommerce pings Zapier, and Zapier thinks about it and then pings your connected tool. That's very useful for certain types of integrations, but you have to pay per Zap. So usually you pay monthly, and it's not unlimited. And then of course there's a bit of a delay, like on the free plan, I think it's only 5 minutes or 15 minutes that things run. So it's a service. It's not a plugin, you don't own it. Whereas with WP Fusion, your settings are right in here. It's running on your site. You're configuring the integration right within WordPress. And then when something happens in WordPress, the connection to your marketing platform is immediate. The data is sent there. There are no limits, there are no delays, and you own the data.
Yeah, that's great. Also, I mean, you can probably do multiple things in Zapier, but this isn't just moving things around. This is doing the action and adding tasks for your notes and helping with the marketing. You know, Zapier just does the let me move this
right,
over there.
And like Zapier isn't, as far as I know, like Zapier can't enroll a student into a course for you or modify a discount amount, or like actually, or maybe like, for example, we can trigger pop-ups with WP Fusion. We can show and hide sections of a page in Divi or Elementor. So Zapier wouldn't be able to do that either, because it's just zapping your services together. It's not creating like a persistent link.
Yeah. And then the last question I have is, on average, do you know how long it takes for your customers to regain their value? Like, because do you know if you're like how happy your customers are? Like on average, you're like, oh, most of our customers are regaining their value within a month or 2 months. Like,
yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it depends. It's like, I mean, if you're recovering abandoned carts and your product sells for $200 or something, well, 2 recovered carts pays for WP Fusion.
yeah.
So that could happen really quickly. But yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say. There was a customer I was working with in 2019, and he, like, we were talking about having the gamification strategy and having the like marketing engagement strategy. He's the definition of that. I mean, he had everything planned out, you know, hundreds of nodes. He's running an online learning platform for training aspiring comic book artists in Argentina. And like, he would drive me a little nuts because he had all these little things that had to be just right and a ton of feature requests. But, you know, like, I mean, I could see where he's coming from. It's like, okay, yeah, we can build that, we can add that, we can create that. But so he got in touch about 8 months after launching, and he was on track to earn $500,000 US in his first year, just selling comic book training. And like, it was nuts. He's showing me like, the ways that people are getting engaged, all the way from like the free sign up with like a free tutorial class, and then shunting them into different learning branches depending on how they did in that, and like upsells and special offers and stuff like that, all automated. And yeah, like $500,000 in the first year. I mean, that's an unusual success story. Most of that was his vision. We just kind of provided the tool to make
Yeah.
plan reality. But yeah, I guess that's what it really comes down to is if you've got a strategy in mind, really the value is going to come from that strategy, and WP Fusion will just help you execute it.
Fantastic. So the last question I have for you is more, I would like to see, do you have any advice for our users? It could be WP Fusion related, or it can just be in general. What kind of advice would you give our users who are trying to succeed in selling their courses?
But I guess where I see the most success is people who really, really double down on a specific niche, especially something that they're already expert in. Like this customer I just mentioned, like being a graphic artist and then launching a school for aspiring comic book artists is really, really specific, and also doing it in the Spanish language market. I don't really think there was any competition out there. And then COVID hit and everybody was stuck at home and wanted to learn to draw. And so of course it took off. So, I think like if you're going to be doing like a personal health community, to like double down on a specific aspect of personal health, or whatever it is, like if it's gardening, focus on a certain kind of gardening, or if it's woodworking, focus just on cabinets or something like that. That's where I tend to see the most success, is people who become experts in a very small corner of their profession.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that you want to share with our learners before we wrap it up?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, there's more information at wpfusion.com, and we have a Facebook group as well that's got like 1.5 thousand people in it, called Marketing Automation for WordPress with WP Fusion. There's a lot of good conversations going on in there. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. And these interviews are brought to you from LearnDash, and they're pulled from the Facebook group. Whenever there's a topic anyone is interested in, please bring it up. Or if there's a topic that's coming up a lot, we tend to reach out to different plugin developers, and we're lining up different interviews. So if you want to be on the show, or if you want a topic covered, please let us know in the Facebook group. Feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And thanks a lot. Have a great day.